There are 3 chord progressions that changed my life. These 3 chord progressions have laid the foundation of 93% of what I play today still as a guitar teacher and professional player, and I'm going to teach those 3 progressions to you right now. My name's Jake, and for the past 16 years, I have been teaching the coolest people on the internet how to play guitar. By the end of this video, you'll know the 3 most important chord progressions I've ever learned, and I'll give you a strum pattern you can use to apply to them right now to get started playing. I'll teach you the chord progressions one at a time, along with exactly how I'm playing the chords for each of them most often, and at the end I'm going to give you the strum pattern you can apply to any of them. So let's start with the first chord progression. It's going to be in the key of G. Our first chord is going to be a G, but I like to play it where I have my ring finger on 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and I don't have a pinky, but you probably do, and you can put that on the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. And then I just set my middle finger on the thickest string, 3rd fret. This is a G chord. Now, there's other ways to play G. You can totally play this chord progression, whatever way you like to play G, but this is the one that I use most often. I'd love to hear in the comments which G shape, you're using most often, how you're playing it and doing all those things. But for me right now, these 2 fingers, pinky if you got one. Cool. G. Now I'm going to go to a C next. G, C. I'm going to put my middle finger on 3rd fret of the 5th string, and I'm not changing anything else. I'm just leaving the other fingers where they are. That makes like a C sus2 add 9 situation, but it's going to function like a C chord. Next, I go to an E minor. Leaving these little fingers parked, I'm going to set my index finger on 2nd fret of the 5th string. And then finally, I'm going to go to a D chord. I'm going to, again, leave that finger, these 2 if I can, parked, and I'm going to put my index finger on 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And I can play the middle 4 strings for the D, or I can play, the top 4, maybe the top 5. It's all going to work. And again, this is turning into a D sus if you're playing that 3rd fret up there. But I like that sound, and that's what I'm trying to go for again in this progression. So I've got G, C, E minor, and D. That is the #1 chord progression I use most often. Let's talk about another chord progression in the key of E, a very different progression than the key of G. This one is all about having open strings ring. So I'm going to start with an E chord. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go play an A chord, but instead of playing it kind of the traditional way, I like to slide these up. So I'm just taking my E chord and I'm sliding it up till my middle 2 fingers are on 7th fret, and I'm playing the top 5 strings. Then I'm going to slide up till my top 2 fingers are on, or my middle 2 fingers are on 11th fret. I'm going to put my index finger 1 fret back from that E shape, so it'll be on 9th fret, again, strum 5 strings. This is a C sharp minor, so we have E, A, C sharp minor, and then if I slide back 2 frets and go to my original shape, that's a B chord. E, A, C sharp minor, and B. Again, I use this all the time. I think those open strings are really pretty, especially if I'm playing acoustic. I'm pointing to an acoustic guitar that's on the wall that you can't see. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I am. And anyway, so I use this all the time. Those open ringing chords, I think, are really, really pretty. Okay, now let's talk about my 3rd most often and maybe trickiest chord progression, but I'm going to give you a couple of hints and secrets on how to make it a little easier. We're going to start with a C major chord. And I want you to play the traditional, standard, regular old C major. Then I'm going to go to an F chord, but I'm not going to play a bar chord. What I'm going to do is, if I had a pinky, I would set it on 3rd fret of the D string. And so it would go right in front of my middle finger there, right? It would go right there if I had a pinky. I don't. So I'm actually just going to move and use my middle finger and then my ring finger on 3rd fret of the 5th and 4th strings. My 1st finger stays on 2nd string, and I strum all those. F sus2 major 7 is the name of that chord, and it is beautiful. You can also use your thumb on the thickest string on 1st fret if you want. I don't do that all the time. In fact, I rarely do it. I usually just use these, but that is an option for you if you want to try that. This sounds so beautiful. C to the F, and it gets us away from doing the bar chord. And if you have a pinky, it's so easy to set it down right there. It turns one of the hardest chords, trying to wrestle that bar chord, into one of the easiest and I think prettiest chords we can play. The next one is going to be an A minor, and the way that I'm going to play that is just like a C chord, right? I'm just going to lift up my middle finger, and that makes an A minor 7, which again, I think is really pretty. So far we have C, F, A minor, and if you have a pinky, you haven't even had to move these 2 fingers yet. And lastly, I'm going to play a G chord. Now, I play it exactly the same as I played the initial G I taught you. I told you this is my favorite G. I play it all the time. You could use your ring finger, and again, if you have one, your pinky on second string, third fret of the second string, you could use your pinky there where I've got my ring finger. And I think that's kind of keeps you more in the same position. But because I don't have my pinky, I got to do a little bit more moving around. But man, I think this sounds beautiful. That is one of my favorite chord progressions. Now, I know I'm moving quickly. If you want a PDF that has everything that was kind of on the screen here, everything we went over, including the strum pattern I'm about to teach you, you can get it for free in my free course and community, school.com/guitar. There'll be a PDF and a play along workout as well. Okay. Let's dive into this strumming pattern. I'm going to apply it to the first chord progression I showed you, though we could do it with any of them. And in the workout that you can get, I will do it with all of them. Okay, here we go. When we strum, I strum down and I count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I just cut those with ups. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I say and in between the numbers. Now, to make a pattern, we got to skip some of those where we do what I call a ghost strummer. We intentionally miss the strings. To do that, I'm just going to intentionally miss beat 3. So it'll be 1 and 2 and ghost and 4 and over and over for each chord. Let's try it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and